focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to the Brian Nichols Show. Well, happy Tuesday there, folks. Brian Nichols here on the Brian Nichols Show, and thank you for joining us on, of course, another fun-filled episode. I am, as always, your humble host, and today it's mano y mano, you and me. We're going back to, yes, another one of our morning sales huddles, and thank you for joining us. You know, we've had quite a few amazing guests here over the past few weeks. So if you have not had the chance yet, please take a moment, pause the podcast really quick, and do me a favor, go back. And if you have not had the chance, like I said, download those episodes, give them a listen. Absolutely fantastic conversations. We talk about battling addiction. We talk about pediatric cancer being attacked with cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. We're talking about, the blue divide in America. There are so many conversations that we've had over the past few weeks. It's hard to keep track of them, to be quite frank, because they've all been so great. So do me a favor, go back and give that a check. But when you do, please do me a favor, make sure you hit download for all of them so it goes right into your podcast catcher. But with that being said, yes, we're going to be discussing our morning sales huddles today. Now, we're going to be talking about the ideas of spreading positivity today, because if you look around the world, I don't know if everybody else has noticed this, everybody seems to be negative all the time, and it's exhausting. And frankly, I'm tired of it. And I think we need to be the change we wish to see in the world. And yes, it's easy to follow, the easy path, and that is the path of least resistance. And that many times ends up being the one where we complain, where we go out and we spread negativity. But today I want to talk about spreading positivity recklessly. And this is going back to one of our morning sales huddles over. You can get that, by the way, head to briannicholsshow.com. You can subscribe right there on the homepage. This is from March 7th. So when you're a sales pro, you hear the word no 90% of the time. And by the way, yes, as an aside, this, of course, is going to be related to the world of sales. So yes, we hear no 90% of the time. It's exhausting. It's mentally draining. And it's why so many salespeople become cynical and bitter. When I sit down to coach sales teams, I hear the pain in their voice after each rejection. When you get that rejection, it hurts. And sadly, more often than not, salespeople will take the pain or rejection and they'll return it tenfold to their prospects. See, this is a losing strategy, both as a salesperson and for your mental health. See, we can easily put ourselves in our own shoes. I mean, after all, there are shoes. But it's much more difficult to place yourself in the shoes of someone else, especially if that person just rejected you. So instead of taking that rejection personally, what if you instead took a breath, tried to empathize, and then try your best to leave your prospect with some semblance of positivity? Because imagine if you're getting ready to call your prospect in the morning and unknowingly to you, he found out over the weekend that his best friend was diagnosed with terminal cancer and only has a few months to live. Today just happens to be his best friend's birthday. You call looking for the appointment only to be caught off guard by the morose, negative-sounding prospect on the other side of the phone. Well, screw this guy, you think to yourself as you hang up. But what if you had approached this differently? What if, instead of placing expectations on your prospect to take the appointment, you put yourself in their shoes and you hear that something is obviously wrong in their world? And instead of taking that rejection personally, what if you had responded to their objection with contagious optimism and positivity? When you call a prospect, you might be catching them on the worst day of their life. So why only feed into that negativity that they're exhibiting on the phone? People might not remember what you say, but they'll certainly remember how you made them feel. If you made them feel worse in their down moments, then that's the emotion they will begin to associate you with. But if you leave with positivity, rejection be damned, that'll pay more positive dividends both in business relationships and in your own mental health. We become what we put into the world. If when faced with negativity, you respond with negativity, then surprise, surprise, you will have a negative life. But if you face rejection and challenges with optimism and positivity, not only will people remember that, but your mental health, yeah, it'll thank you too. Now, let's go back to a time when, believe it or not, even positive yours truly, cheerful yours truly, definitely was facing some demons and a lot of negativity. This goes to our morning sales huddle for March 16th, titled, You Can Do It. What do you do when you're struggling? What's the best way to get out of a rut? Whether it's in the world of sales or in life, whenever things get tough, it's important to remember to control what you can control. All the good things and the bad things that happen in your life that are a direct result of your actions or inactions are all within the realm of your control. Back when I was in my early 20s, I found myself leaning far, far too often on alcohol as a sort of crutch to help me get through tough times. And those instances increased in frequency up to the point I started to realize I was finding myself drinking way too often to deal with things versus addressing them and confronting them head on. Work, life, physical fitness, all those things that mattered to me, which coincidentally were the areas I was struggling, were all reasons I would drink. And yet it was my drinking that would end up causing more problems in those areas in the first place. Instead of looking to blame others or circumstances, I was more than happy to numb the pain with alcohol. And all the while causing more problems for myself along the way. Looking back, I wish I had stopped drinking sooner. And of course, hindsight is 2020. And yet, it is in the struggles in life where we learn and where we grow. Now, I get the opportunity to tell my story to others and share the opportunity that there's a different way to do things, a different way of approaching life, and its many, many challenges and obstacles. There's no magic pill to life that makes things perfect. Whether it was my trying to lose weight, stop relying on alcohol, improve my mental health, all those different challenges have helped me become the person I am today. And it's because of those challenges that I can look back and I can smile, seeing I'm objectively in a better spot in my life than I was in years past. Don't get stuck in the way things are. Don't let yourself get tricked into thinking you're helpless to making a change, no matter how big that change might be. You can do it. All right, folks. That's going to be our morning sales huddle for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, well, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Please go ahead and give it a share. And when you do, make sure you go ahead and tag yours truly at B Nichols Liberty. By the way, have you given us a 5-star rating and review yet? I go ahead. I read every single one. So if you have not yet, please go ahead. And when you do, tell me exactly what value you're getting here from the Brian Nichols Show. I love to hear the not only the things you're learning, but also the fact that we're seeing the conversations change and things actually happen because of those conversations changing. And speaking of which, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and please keep an eye on your podcast catchers, specifically if you are a big podcast fan and there's certain big podcasts out there that you listen to on the regular. I might be appearing on one of those big podcasts. I can't say which one as of yet, but let's just say by the end of this week, you should be refreshing your podcast catchers quite frequently. So yes, make sure you're keeping an eye there. And of course, I'll make sure I air out the episode when it does, in fact, go live. Don't miss it. Follow me on Twitter at B Nichols Liberty. But with that being said, folks, thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Brian Nichols Show. With that being said, it's Brian Nichols signing off for our morning sales huddle. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.